Aloha, I'm Reverend Tim Lytle, Senior Minister here at Unity Church of Hawaii in Honolulu. And we are so grateful for all of you who watch us on our YouTube channel. We know with you that as you view these teachings and apply them to your lives, that it helps to build your life into the very best one that can be imagined. If you're ever in the area, please come and join us for a service, and please enjoy the message that you're about to watch. Aloha.
What's it going to be? The love of power or the power of love? I believe that God speaks to us in many voices, in many ways, in many traditions at many different times. And so here's one of my scriptures from Jimi Hendrix. You know, I grew up with Jimi Hendrix. Okay. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. Yeah. Isn't that good? When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. Right now, there's so many people in our world who are grasping for power. And probably because they feel powerless. Probably because they think that it's up to the ego to try to grab power and to try to coerce other people and to try to manipulate and intimidate, rather than realizing that the most enduring power that there is the power of love. What I have discovered in my own life are those times where I have tried to push things forward and overcome by ego. It seems to have a very transitory, temporary effect. Whereas if I am basing what I am doing from my heart, basing it on love, coming from that God center, that God space that I am, speaking and living from love, then it has a much more enduring effect because God is love. So when we align ourselves with love, we are aligning with our true nature. Yeah? You are the outpicturing of God. Every day, you know, once in a while I'll run into people who tell me that they're bored. That is a person who is asleep. If you're bored, you're not paying attention. Because you are the presence of God. How can that be boring? You are here to create, to express, and to do all of that in love. And where there is love, there is not boredom. There's great creativity and energy. If you're bored, it means you're asleep. Now, some people say they're asleep because they were bored, but actually that's not the case. They're bored because they're asleep. There are so many ways in which we can experience the love and presence of God in ourselves and in one another. There's no opportunity really for boredom unless we create that. And we have the ability to create whatever it is we want to create in our lives. The power of love, Charles Fillmore, one of the co-founders of the Unity movement, said that the power of love is that ability to harmonize, to unify. It's a great harmonizing principle. So what we love, we tend to harmonize into our lives or draw ourselves to those things in our lives. Last night we flew in late last night. And I'm praying and chanting a lot of the time, but on part of the trip was on American Airlines, and they have free movies. Hawaiian Airlines, they want you to pay for them all. But American Airlines, it's like, okay, so I'm looking, and I watch this, or at least the movie Alpha about the start of the relationship between humanity and dogs, And then I watched part of the movie that I've been wanting to see called Bohemian Rhapsody. Oh! Okay, the 9 o'clock service was like... Okay. So, some of you know about Bohemian Rhapsody. So, the life of Freddie Mercury and Queen. And as I watched that movie, what was clear to me was that Freddie Mercury really loved performing. He really loved music. He loved what he did. He so loved it that he attracted himself to it. That's the power of love. Love has the ability to attract us to that which we are loving. That's how it's the harmonizing principle. If we love chaos, if we love drama, if we love crisis, we will draw that to ourselves. And some people stay entertained that way. Other people choose to switch the movie, to change the movie. You know, if you're watching a movie that you don't like, you can always change it. You don't have to stay for the whole thing. Same is true in your life. You can change by what it is you love. So the question is, because everyone here is using the power of love, and those of you who are love streaming, you are using the power of love. The question is, how are you using it? It's yours to use. These 12 powers have been given to us to use. They're like tools, like a hammer and a saw. When I was a kid, I would use a hammer, but I would use it in destructive ways. What are you doing with the tools you've been given? Charles and Myrtle Fillmore said those 12 powers are that Christ presence that we are expressing in this world. So how are you expressing your power of love? You can tell by what it is you're drawing into your life or what you're drawing yourself to. So the power of love is very, very important. And the power to create is based in that power of love, what it is you're loving. Now, Mahatma Gandhi lived in India, and they were under domination of a foreign power, the British government. And Gandhi wanted people to realize the power there is in love. He said this, "A coward is incapable of exhibiting love. It is the prerogative of the brave." Think about whenever you've known a bully. Actually, they're a coward. They're afraid. That's why they want to do a preemptive strike. That's why they want to intimidate. It's a cover-up. It's a compensation for how they're really feeling inside. It takes courage to really love, to love deeply. Now, here's something that's very true. I will always love you. Always. You have no control over it. I have to move this mic when I laugh. Because love is a choice. It's a decision, and it's what my heart calls me to. And when you really love, love is the divine recognizing itself. Love is the divine recognizing itself. Now, love is different from enabling. In our culture, that's very confused. In addictions and alcoholism, it's pretty hard, almost impossible, to stay an active addict, alcoholic, without someone enabling. An addict or an alcoholic looks for someone who will be an enabler. It may be very subconscious, but they're looking for someone, and by enabling, and those of you who are in recovery or those of you who've been in an alcoholic family, you know that, like if someone is binge drinking, someone might make an excuse for them. They'll call the workplace and say, "Oh, Johnny's sick today. Johnny can't come in today. He's so sick he can't even talk on the phone." "Oh, Johnny, you need some money. You're out of money. Oh, here's some money." I mean, that's enabling. Okay? Now, that isn't to say those people don't actually love Johnny, but that's not the most loving thing we could do for him. Love speaks the truth. Love stands in the truth. Love lives the truth, but in a loving way, in a way that is respectful of the other person, but love stands in the truth. Do not confuse enabling with love. That's dangerous. Charles Fillmore said that there are two powers that need to go together, and that's love and wisdom. His concern was that love without wisdom would be overly sentimental and enabling, and that wisdom by itself could be cold and calculating. But taken together, wisdom and love, we can know how to express our love and how to live a life of love and not be so engaged in that struggle to try to overcome others by the power of our ego. I'm not putting down the ego. I suppose we need it because we all have one. The ego is what helps us to get around in the world, helps us to know what to watch out for. Like a car. A car is to get us around the island, get around town. But you're the one who decides where the car goes, not the other way around. Even if you're using GPS, you're still the one determining where you're going to go. But a lot of people have handed the keys over to the ego. They said, "Oh, drive me. Let's see where we go." That's a dangerous journey. And that's how lots of accidents occur. As people with clashing egos collide. The power of love, on the other hand, is that power to ground ourselves in truth and ground ourselves in our divine presence and to really live from that presence. And as Gandhi said, it is the prerogative of the brave. It takes courage to really love and to really hold the highest and best for each individual and to call them to their highest and best. Sometimes some of us may be tempted to let's just let things slide. When maybe the most loving thing to do would be to say, we need to talk. Can we please talk? Not spreading rumors, not triangulation, but can you and I talk? That's loving behavior. Not talking so much behind people's backs. I heard of a minister who went to a church, and as soon as he came to the church, he put up signs all over the church, very large church. And these signs said, "No murmur zone." No murmuring. So there were signs all over the church, no murmuring. No talking bad about people, but talking directly with people to work things out. That's all right. Yeah, movement of the Holy Spirit here. Mighty rushing wind. Now, next Sunday will be my last official Sunday here. And I will miss all of you. I love all of you. Again, there's nothing you can do about that. And I will hold you in my heart. And I'll be going to Unity in Marin. Unity in Marin. Some people wonder, what is it you're saying? Marin. M-A-R-I-N. If you ever want to follow online, unityinmarin.org. Okay? So you can follow online if you like, or come by and see us. As I was flying on the plane, I realized this before, but when you're on the plane and you're bouncing around and you're in between naps, I realized, I'm grieving. I'm excited to be going to Unity in Marin. Don't get me wrong, I feel called there. But I'm grieving about the connection that I have with all of you. I'm grieving about this wonderful ministry, grieving about what I had envisioned and how it turned out. I'm grieving. And I realized that grieving is a sign that I have loved. You don't grieve over something you haven't loved. So it's okay to grieve if any of you are grieving. It's okay. And just because there's change in relationship, I move from here to there, that love is something that is real, because that is the nature of God, is love. And as it says in the Course in Miracles, nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So that love, nothing can threaten that, because it's real. Try leading with love. Try leading with your heart. Try shifting the idea that the way to lead is by ego and by intimidation. Rather, lead with love. And this church and you will be prospered. Aloha.